for coming to our totally online LISSA meeting. Thanks for being part of our experiment. And we're glad that everyone could make it in spite of the snow. So this is our first meeting of the semester, and we're very excited. We've got a full program ahead of us. I am your co-president, Dana Eckstein, and I've got my other two co-presidents here. Say hi.
Hi, I'm Diane Feldman.
Hey there, I'm John DeQuino.
So this is our first semester serving as your co-presidents, and we're very excited to be here, and we're really excited to hear your ideas. So we have an agenda prepared for this meeting, and we'll go through it, and then in the end we'll open up for questions and feedback. And not everyone can speak on the microphone, but everyone can speak on the chat window, and as we said, Samantha, who is our online representative, will read any messages from the chat to be addressed in the conversation. So the first thing we wanted to do was a tour of our LISSA online resources, starting with the website, which I have here. I'm going to show you. So it's our WordPress that John worked on. So it's filled with current information. You can get news about things that are going on. For example, this meeting and the fact that when we start having physical meetings, they will be in a new location, room 323, which is the third floor of the SC9 building. You can see the dates for all our meetings and information for getting to them. I'm sure all of you got this information since you're here right now, so good for you. And then we also have information about your board. So there's the three of us and our other board members. So you can reach out to any of us if you have questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, all that good stuff. And we also have a lot of links. There are a ton of resources. We're not going to go over all these today, but you can take a look at the website in your own time and check out all these things. So going back to the agenda, we also wanted to make sure everyone knows about our wonderful Twitter, which is not open. I will open Twitter. So you can tweet at us at LISSA Rutgers_LISSA. Oops, I'm not signed in. And we can get information here, news, tweet at us. There's a lot of library action going on Twitter, so I highly encourage everyone to get involved. We have our Facebook page. There's a LISSA group, so you can become a member and join us on Facebook. Then we get to the guides. We have the LISSA iGuide is available. This is a new resource with lots of information. So you can see, again, we've got all our information, meeting dates, links to our other online resources, and our WordPress newsfeed. So lots of information there. And then there's the Google Plus community, which I hope you're all a part of. If anyone doesn't have a Google account, rest assured that your scarletmail.rutgers.edu account is hosted on Google Apps, so everybody can get on Google. And so there's lots of people posting all sorts of things here about all sorts of things going on in the library world. So you can see there's something specific to Rutgers. There are job opportunities, people looking to network. Great job, Aman. Cute stuff from me, because I like to post cute stuff, and wonderful things. And then lastly, there's the MLIS Job Board iGuide, and since I'm sure everybody here wants a job, this is a really great resource for lists you can look at for jobs and resources for jobs. So those are the online resources. Then we're just going to run through. These are your current officers for this semester. So as John, Dana, and Diane, we just introduced ourselves. We also have Samantha here tonight fielding online questions. And so as you see, we have some people doubled up on jobs, so we do have some open positions if anyone's interested. So the first open position is treasurer. Works with the co-presidents to create an annual budget, to submit to GSA in September, and assist with creation of additional January budget, submits reimbursements requests to GSA, and also to the SC9 Dean's office throughout the year. LISSA does a lot of work with the colloquium, so doing reimbursement for colloquium refreshments and for our meeting refreshments. So I know this is a small meeting today, but if anybody is interested in the position, you can please reach out to us and express your interest. So I was doing it for last semester, and I have to say it was a lot of fun, and everybody loves the person who brings the pizza. So then the other position that we have, oh, here we go, in the chat window, Will would be happy to volunteer for treasurer. Thank you, Will. We will reach out to you after the meeting to talk about it more.
Yay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Will.
So then the next position available is the co-online student representative. We already have, as we mentioned, our lovely Samantha, who's with us tonight, but we're also looking for additional help, especially since Samantha is an on-campus student. So if there's anyone who's a fully online student who would best know the needs of online students, that would be great. So this person serves as a liaison between online and on-campus LISSA members, connects the two communities, advertises the LISSA meetings, and connects with ideas for programming. So again, if anyone's interested, or if you know anybody, if you've taken an online class and you know somebody who's doing online work who would be a good idea for this position, please feel free to reach out to us. Upcoming events. We're also excited to be back, so we're having a meetup at the George Street Ale House. The volume just went out. Can everyone else hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Slide it back, guys. Yeah.
I can hear.
Me too.
All right, Smith, it seems like, or I guess if she can't hear me, I don't know why I'm speaking.
Oh, no, it's working now. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't just me.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Now I will keep on rolling. So the George Street Ale House, everyone loves a little drinking and networking at the same time. So this is a week, this week in 3 days at the George Street Ale House, 6 o'clock. It's not sponsored by the Dean's Office, so actually it is sponsored by the Dean's Office, but there's no reservation, so you just show up and hang out with friends, get a drink, and network. So we hope to see you there. Our first colloquium of the semester is coming up on Wednesday, February 18th. I think it's 7:30. I think that's a mistake. 7:30 at the Alexander's Rutgers Library. It's on the 4th floor in the Scholarly Communication Center. The speakers will be Laura Fleming and Shannon McClintock Miller, focusing on new strategies for youth services and school librarians. So there's a Facebook event. If you're not on it, you should go ahead and join the event. And then also, I'm just going to skip down for a second. Right before this colloquium, there's going to be a knowledge cafe, which is an informal guided conversation. It's good for networking and talking about topics and information. So that's going to be at 6:15 in the same place as the colloquium in the lobby in front of the Scholarly Communication Centers. We need volunteers to get food and help set up. So you just go out and get like cheese crackers, fruit, that kind of thing, and then LISSA will reimburse you for the cost of the food. So if you'd like to volunteer, please reach out to us. So then we're just going to run through future colloquiums are coming up on March 11th and April 8th, so mark your calendars. Do we need volunteers for cleanup?
Question.
Yes.
Aman wants to know if for the colloquium and knowledge cafes, if you need volunteers for cleanup.
Yes, we will be taking volunteers for cleanup. Thank you for asking. Okay, so the next thing is the knowledge cafes also coincide with the future colloquium. So there's one on March 11th and April 8th. Our future LISSA meetings, mark your calendar, are February 24th, March 24th, April 28th. Those are all in room 323. Our last meeting on May 5th will be in the student lounge, and we will be joining together with some of the other MLIS organizations to have a big kind of end of the year soiree. So looking forward to that. So I think I'm going to hand it off to John, who will introduce our lovely speaker, Chelsea Woods.
Great. Hello, everybody. Chelsea Woods is here to speak with us on behalf of New Jersey Library Association, or NJLA. Chelsea Woods is the Tween Librarian in the Youth Services Department at the New Brunswick Free Public Library. Previously, she worked for 2 years as a reference librarian and teen intern at the Patterson Free Public Library, during which this time she was also enrolled in the MLIS program at Rutgers and completed her degree. This was in 2013. Currently, Chelsea serves as the Vice Chair of the NJLA Honors and Awards Committee, the Secretary of the NJLA Urban Library Section, and is also involved in the NJLA Young Adult Section. So Chelsea, at this time, I'm going to give you presenter power so you can share your screen with everybody.
Okay, great.
Can
everybody hear me? Hold on. Okay. Can you guys see everything?
Yeah, I can.
Good, okay. Okay, well, yeah, so I was contacted by John about last week, and he asked me to speak about NJLA. As he said, I am the tween librarian at New Brunswick Public Library, which is in walking distance from you guys over at Rutgers, so if you ever want to come visit, please come by. We have a great library. And I started working there in June. I was hired on as tween librarian as opposed to children's librarian because the greatest bulk of our kids that come by are in the 4th to 8th grade range. So that's really the population that I work with in New Brunswick. But I do also supplement my work with a lot of NJLA work as well, and NJLA is the New Jersey Library Association. I think it's best described as a collaborative professional organization that exists statewide. Every state in the United States has a state association. Some are more active than others, but if you were to ever, move to another state for a job, it would be great if you got involved in your state association to meet librarians doing the same work you're doing. I enjoy NJLA because it allows me to grow as a librarian and to really bounce ideas off of other people that may be in the same situation I am and so on, but I'll get to that in a second. I just want to give you kind of an overview. You can see I have the website up here. NJLA has an executive board and then committees and sections for membership. I highly recommend membership. For students, you can get a joint membership with ALA and NJLA, and that, I believe, this year is only at the cost of $38, which is a complete steal. You will never find a membership again for that price. So if you feel like you can do it, it is a great membership to have. It allows you access to any section meeting you'd like to go to. And for the committees and the exec board, that happens by appointment. But for the section, which I will click on for right now just to show you a list. Oops. They exist in all different areas of librarianship. So when I speak tonight, I'll be speaking from a public librarian point of view. So please just remember that in case any of you aren't interested in that. I am sorry, but as you can see, we have college and university section. There's also a reference section down here, which pulls together librarians, small libraries, school libraries. So whatever type of librarian you are, we clearly have a lot of different committees, subcommittees, and so on that you can join. For students, I think involvement is important for honing your skills and networking. Networking is important, obviously, because you want to get a job, but it's also important because it will help you figure out what kind of librarian you want to be and help you really get a focus in your work. You'll find that when you step into a job, it really tends to be what you're going to make it. And being involved in a professional organization with other librarians can help you keep on track. So I recommend that you pick 1 or 2 sections. I'll show you here how you can get in touch with people that you're interested in, with the people of the section that you're interested in, if this loads. I'm sorry this is taking so long. But if you were to click on the section, it would give you the email and phone number of the committee chair or the section president, and you could email them to get on their listserv and to start coming to their meetings. That is free. You can do that. They always welcome attendance. Some sections are a little more strict with attendance than others, but this is how you're going to get to know not only different librarians, but to be able to travel around to different libraries in the state as well. I also want to show you our Facebook page. If you want to like it, you can. You could just look up New Jersey Library Association. And it's frequently updated with all sorts of good information about programs and whatnot, articles relating to New Jersey librarianship. So that's a good way to stay in touch too. As for, let me go back here and see if I can pull up something a little more relevant. As for other things that are relevant to you guys as students, give me a sec here. I think I just saw it. Yes, the scholarships. The scholarships happen every year. As you can see, there are a few requirements here. Can everyone see the screen that I'm showing right now?
Yes, I believe you're good.
Good. So it's a typical scholarship application. I believe the amount that they give you is kind of dependent on how many worthy applicants they find, but it's a pretty sizable scholarship and it's worth applying for. You know, I know graduate school is not cheap and every little bit helps. There are also usually scholarships available through the different consortiums in the state, like Buckles has a scholarship as well. But always check the scholarship requirements to see when they're due and whatnot. This one is due on February 18th, and as you see, the applicant must also be available for an interview on March 6th. There's also the job hotline. I'm not going to click on it right now, but I think Dana said that it's available on your LISSA website. This is how I got my current job. I found the posting here. So it is a great resource for job hunting. I see that there is a question in the chat box, and I actually don't know if the scholarship can be used for summer courses. I don't see why not, but that would be definitely a question to ask Cassandra here. If you guys wanted to contact her, I believe there's better contact information within the application, which if I had time I would go into that with you guys right now. The other thing I want to mention is the Emerging Leaders Program, and I couldn't find a page for it, so I'm just going to have to talk to you guys about it right now. But it is, I believe, a program of 10 folks from around the state, and they tend to be people who are just recently into librarianship and are demonstrating potential. And it is almost like a further professional development series of seminars. It's a formal program, and it happens every other year. John, did you say that you're involved this year?
I am, and actually there's 25 of us this time around. Not sure how many there were in the past. It's a mixture of public as well as academic librarians, but mostly public librarians from all around New Jersey. And the next deadline to apply, there'll be a 2016-2017 group. So for students who are in their first semester, they could apply for, if they're on that 2-year, 4-semester track, during their last semester, which would be fall 2016, you could be a part of it as a student. But it's also something good to keep in mind for when you graduate and when you do see that deadline to explore it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the ways that NJLA tries to connect librarians to each other, and in my understanding, it is a way for newer librarians to start tackling some of the major issues facing librarianship. And that also brings me to advocacy. This is one of the essential functions of NJLA. It really is an advocacy group as well as professional development. I would say it's almost 50-50. It's really an essential function of a librarian's job now, whether you're a public librarian, academic librarian, school librarian. The state, you'll find, at least in New Jersey, really controls what libraries can do. Right now, libraries, public libraries at least, are, working for more funding, working for construction mandates, all sorts of things. I'll just show you quickly here. They send out legislative updates every so often. We have 2 pieces of legislation right now that were introduced in December, and they are to increase basic library funding and also, as I mentioned, this New Jersey Library Construction Bond Act for older libraries to be given funding to make their buildings ADA compliant and just generally improve them, because a lot of them are beautiful but falling apart. But that's just to give you a taste of the kind of advocacy NJLA does. It's really a way to bend the legislator's ear towards community institutions that are clearinghouses for everybody in that community, in that town, in that township, whatever. There is an advocacy week every year. I think it's in March this year. I don't see it posted on the website yet, but last year it was very successful. They gave librarians, ordinary librarians around the state, toolkits to go and talk to their local legislators about libraries, and efforts like that have really been beneficial in getting us attention. Librarians tend to be very helpful, sweet people, and it's hard to get us to advocate for ourselves, but it is very important that we do that. So that's something else NJLA does, and if that's something you're interested in, it really is becoming essential to our job. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And beyond this, NJLA has a bunch of other opportunities. We have our annual conference, which is a great time. I highly recommend going. In addition to being almost like a continuing education every year, it's a great way to meet librarians, see what they're doing, pull you out of your own job and realize that you're part of a bigger effort around the state. And also they just have mixers and places to socialize, and it's a nice way to be with people who are like-minded, working towards the same goals you are. They usually always have a keynote speaker, which will sometimes be a librarian, sometimes it'll be an author or whatever. And they also do yearly honors and awards at a dinner, and the induction of the new president every year. And so it's really nice to freshen up your skills and to see how the mission of librarians changes and grows each year. But there are opportunities throughout the year as well. Let me see if I can find it here. We do have micro conferences. Let me see if I could, yes. So there was one last week. And this year it's the 5th annual, so they're fairly new. As you can see, it's a much smaller rate than the annual conference, which I forget how much that runs, but it's a couple $100. But the micro conference, those are like a series of conferences, and this year it's coding and technology, and I think each year it changes. But as you can see, it's sponsored not only by NJLA but also the State Library. NJLA will partner very frequently with the State Library and with Library Link NJ just to make sure that we're all working together, we're not reinventing the wheel and so on. So they do have micro conferences. Each section will also usually have what is called an unconference every once in a while, and this is a way to, yes, here we go. This is a toolbox unconference. So this is for the YA section. I just bring this up because it's something I'll be attending, which is for young adult librarians. But every section has them usually. And it's just sort of like a mid-year way to freshen up your skills. Obviously, our conference is in April, so this is very close to it, but our conference used to always be in June, so this is why this is happening around the same time. But yeah, so it really just gives people a way to build your skills and see each other out in between the conference. But, you know, in terms of what I'm involved in, I am the Vice Chair of Honors and Awards. We have a new student award this year, so if you know someone doing really good work, please nominate them. And I'm also at the Urban Library section, and I really picked those two things because you don't want to end up being out of the library more than you're in it. You want to pick some things you're interested in so that you can really enhance the effectiveness of your work and not overextend yourself. So Urban Library, because where I worked in Patterson was a very challenged population, and in New Brunswick it's sort of the same. Our patrons are facing major issues, and we want to be the best support for them that we can be. And so I chose Urban Libraries for that reason. But, you know, I could go on and on about this, but I'd rather start taking your questions, and I know time is limited, so if you guys have any questions, I'd love for you to start asking them so I can answer anything specific you might want to know.
Hey, so this is John here. So when I introduced Chelsea, I said that she is a recent graduate from the Rutgers MLIS program. She graduated in 2013. And so when she was in the program looking for work, she visited the NJLA job hotline where she found an internship position listed for the Patterson Library. And she started her internship there. It went out well. They offered her part-time employment. From there, she got involved with NJLA. And afterwards, she graduated from the Rutgers MLIS program in 2013, like I mentioned, and furthered her involvement in NJLA. And then she, as we mentioned before, got employed at the New Brunswick Public Library. So I think Chelsea is a great example of making that transition from student to staff, and what can a Rutgers MLIS student do now to start themselves on that career path.
You're asking me, John?
Oh, no, I just wanted to underscore that fact. And Chelsea, if you want to add anything to that, please do.
No, let's see, there was a question here. Question, please. How did you decide to be, okay, so the question was, there seem to be a lot of different professional groups we can join. When you started, how or why did you decide to be more active in NJLA as opposed to ALA small work group? Well, when I started my internship, which was at the Patterson Public Library, I was very fortunate to work for my director. Her name is Cindy Cezak, and she is a former president of NJLA and always encourages NJLA participation. So for me, it was just sort of a natural function of my job, and the other librarians there were also heavily involved in NJLA, so I was able to see the immediate direct benefit because I was watching people have experiences that really benefited not only their own work, but the work of others. And to be honest, I just sort of made the choice to be involved with NJLA as opposed to ALA because the nature of my work with urban populations is very local. And a lot of the issues my patrons face do relate to New Jersey culture and laws and whatnot specifically. So that was just a choice I made based on looking at the kind of work I wanted to do and seeing how it would get me there.
Yeah, I would like to say that I know I mentioned this during the new student orientation. I'd like to mention again, and I'm sure as you all know, so LISSA is the graduate student chapter for New Jersey of ALA, then NJLA is the state chapter of ALA, then ALA is the nationwide organization. So through NJLA, you can get started there and participating, and then springboard off of that to ALA on the national level.
John, we have another question from Carrie that just came up for Chelsea.
Great.
Yeah. So it's as to the first part of the question, the most beneficial class I took was planning outreach services. And that is because I'm a public librarian, and so much of our job depends on making sure people know the services we have. You know, what makes it clear to them that they should visit the public library during their day-to-day activities, and why. And that class really helped me understand how many different populations see the library and what they might benefit from, or how they might benefit from library services. In terms of the types of classes I suggest, I have to say, once I started working during my MLIS career, it became rapidly clear that there was probably nothing that could replace doing actual library work in terms of helping me understand the function of a library and the function of a librarian. And that's not at all a knock against graduate school, because it's very important. But once you are, there's nothing, as a public librarian, there's nothing that can prepare you for a patron coming in saying, you know, they're sharing like a really rough personal problem with you, or they have some very obscure genealogical piece of history they need researched. There's very little classroom experience that can prepare you for that. So I highly recommend the Rutgers internships. Just try one near you. If you're an online student, go to your local library and see if they need help. And that actually will help you turn around and look back at your graduate program and say, well, these are the classes I know I need to now take based on what I've faced in the workforce, if that makes sense. You're welcome. Does anyone else have other questions?
Doesn't seem so. Oh, Samantha?
Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about to say something.
Nope, not me.
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. My name is Julia, and I was just wondering, you said you're a tween librarian, right? Do you have any suggestions for, like, readers advisory? Is there, like, any list that if we were going to work with youth that would have good book suggestions?
Yeah. I regularly read School Library Journal, The Horn Book, and, sorry, I'm just blanking on the names right now, Book List. Those publications come directly to my library and are circulated among the staff, so I read them as a hard copy. Voya also is a wonderful magazine because they have book suggestions, but they also have programming suggestions, which is great because when you're working with youth, really you just have to keep throwing stuff against the wall until you figure out what is going to work for your kids, because every group of kids is different. And even your group of kids will change throughout the year as your school is happening or whatever. But I also have a Feedly account, and I follow like a dozen library blogs. And I also follow the blogs of School Library Journal and Hornbook. I read Forever Young Adult. It's a great website. Some of it's a little just like fun stuff, like they do television reviews and stuff. But they actually review books for Kirkus as well, which is another good reviewing publication. So when those come around every month, I read through them and I circle what I think the kids would actually read, and just buy it in terms of budget. I do a lot of nonfiction buying, that's really my passion. I don't do a ton of fiction because we do have a teen librarian and a children's librarian, so I don't really have to build those collections as much, but I do mostly nonfiction. And I have to say those resources are good for nonfiction right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Chelsea, for taking the time to speak with us.
No problem. And if anyone else has questions, if you hover over my name, you could see my email there. You're more than welcome to email me or stop by. And also, I work with Sam at the library, so you can get my information via her as well, if you like. But thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Dana, is there anything you want to conclude with? And Diane?
One thing is that I added a link to our meeting agenda, which is it's very easy. It takes about 30 seconds to sign up for the ALA NJLA Joint Student Membership. You just follow that link. They just basically need your name and your info. As Chelsea said, it's a steal at $38. So I encourage everyone to go ahead and do that. I did it today. I want one of those stickers that says, like, I joined NJLA. That's all I got. Thank you so much for Chelsea for coming and for everyone who came out to hear her speak.
We're also going to be looking into having possibly 1 or 2 day trips this semester, either the Philadelphia Public Libraries or New York City Libraries. We're kind of just looking. We're going to send out a poll asking for seeing what people think and times and days. So keep an eye out for that. And if anyone has any ideas, let us know. How about you, John? Do you have anything to say?
No, I think we covered it all. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Everybody stay warm and safe tonight, and we will see you, hopefully, your lovely faces at our next meeting, which is February 24th, and at the colloquium on February 18th.
Great. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.